Okay, my friends, you're posting, you're showing up, you're doing the thing that everybody told you you needed to do, right? And so why isn't it turning into clients? Well, my friend Ginna Tassanelli is here to talk about how to actually get clients from social media because, spoiler alert, posting alone was never going to be enough. Ginna, welcome in. My audience loves to hear from a great guest, so I'm so glad you're here today. Tell the audience who you are and who you serve, and give us a little backstory about how you got to where you are now.
Yeah, first of all, thank you so much for having me. I know this is going to be super fun. And this is like our love language, so I could talk about this for days.
Right.
So, Gina Tassanelli, I typically serve, so I'm very like, it's so funny because I'm a little selective now after 17 years of being on my own. I'm
Yeah.
like, I have the right to be selective. So I serve really mission oriented, high level entrepreneurs. They are typically already established business
Yeah.
owners. And they are coaches, consultants, professional service providers that have really established themselves offline for at
Mhm.
least a decade. Most of
Yes.
them, like 30 years plus. But coming like transferring that success online, it's a hot mess. And so that is who I love to work with because I was them. And so
Yeah.
yeah, that to me is like that makes it so fun and challenging at the same time. And I'm always like, okay, game on. Here's what's gonna happen. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's exactly who I work with. How I started this journey. So
Yes. Tell us.
it's so funny because I didn't go to school for marketing. I did get a communications degree, but
Mhm.
it was in pre-law studies. And I also got a degree in criminology. So
Wow.
I wanted to be an attorney. I wanted to be a criminal attorney. And still, I'll tell you, like, still to this day, I binge every Dateline episode. I watch any live, like real live courtroom
Yeah.
drama that's happening. I'm
Right.
listening to it. So I'm still like super hooked into all of that.
Yeah.
But I was like, okay, I think I'm done with school. Like I was studying for the LSAT and it was my senior year and the career fair. I went to Florida State, so the career fair was happening and I'm like, I'm just going to go check it out. I went there and I met my boss at that time
Uh-huh.
from iHeartRadio. And it wasn't even iHeart back then. It was actually
Wow.
Clear Communications.
Was that Bob
Um
Pittman?
yes.
Oh my gosh, what a small world.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know him, but I have another friend who, long story short, was Bob was a mentor of his because he had something to do with Century 21, I think, at some point.
Yeah, I mean, that was the owner, right? So not my boss, but I worked out of the Palm Beach office.
Yeah.
So I like met my boss and they flew me down to Palm Beach to interview. I still had 3 months to graduate and I got the job and I told my parents, "I'm done. When I
Yeah.
graduate, I'm not going to law school.
Yeah.
I want to make money. I want to go into sales." And that's what I did.
Yeah.
I sold air
I love
for
it.
so I sold radio. I sold air
Love it.
for almost 10 years.
Yeah.
So that was in 2000 to 2000, the end of 2009. And then, like, this was during a time when, number one, the market was crazy. Like, everything was crashing, right? Which was a
Yeah.
really scary time.
Mhm. For
Um,
sure.
but at the time we had our daughter, she was 3, and I was hustling. I was working late hours. I worked
Yeah.
a lot of events
Yeah.
in the radio business. Like that's just how it was.
Right.
And I had a really long commute, almost an hour
Oh
every
my
day, like
gosh.
both
No.
ways. Yeah, both
No.
ways. So I
Mm-mm.
did that for almost 10 years. And this was a time when Clear Channel actually changed to Bain Capital and then changed to iHeartRadio. And
Wow.
so there was a lot of like internal turmoil going on. And so I resigned and I took a few clients with me. I started Hype Media. And at the time, I was still doing just media buying, like
Yeah.
for them on radio
Yeah.
and Tracy print, like newspaper. I was selling newspaper too, like
You were
buying. I was
selling
like
this.
the media buyer. Yeah.
Love it.
Television, all those things.
Love it.
And then probably like around 2011-ish is when everything really started to convert over to digital and social
Yeah.
media. And
Wild.
and here we are, 2026,
Wild. I
August. Yeah,
love that. Oh my gosh. That is
yeah.
such a journey. I
Yeah.
had a question and oh no, I know what it was going to be. You were talking about the LSAT and I had PTSD because I when I graduated with a marketing degree, fully intending to go to law school. And I studied for the LSAT. First of all, I went and visited Washington University in St. Louis, walked through. This was when they had law books. Nothing was
Yeah.
on. This is how old I am. Okay, y'all, this is how old your girl is. They had law books that were like this thick. And I was
Hmm.
looking at these kids in the library with all of these big, thick books. And I was like, oh,
Yep.
Lord, no. And then I went to take the LSAT, and that score and my SAT score will go to my grave with me. No one will ever know what my score was because it was so horrible, so horrendous. Anyway, we digress. All right, let's dive into the
Same.
topic.
Same.
So I'm really excited for this conversation today. Not only because I adore you, and yes, we totally could talk all day, but I know you hear this a lot too, from your clients and students. Okay, they're
Yeah.
posting. They're like, Gina, I'm
Hmm.
doing all the things. I'm posting, I'm creating the content, I'm putting it out there,
Hmm.
I'm talking to the people, and they don't have the list growth
Hmm.
that they want or the leads that
Hmm.
they want. And what I share with them is, and you know this, I share that visibility you have in the online space needs to get those people offline so you can have a conversation
Yeah.
with them, because the conversation is where the opportunity comes, and the opportunity is where they convert into maybe a new client, maybe a referral partner, maybe a collaboration partner. So
Yeah.
I want to know your take when somebody says to you, Gina, I'm exhausted, I'm doing all the things. What is usually the root of the real problem?
Yeah. I just had this conversation inside of our mini mastermind yesterday with our clients. They are not doing like exactly what as a CEO you need to do. So they
Okay.
are busy over here with
Yes.
content. Content does not sell. Content is meant
Mhm.
to activate your audience, to
Yes.
start the conversation. What sells is the conversation. And
Yes.
so yeah, so and you know what? We had a really like raw, really vulnerable chat yesterday because I was like, "What is it? You need a cash injection, but
Yeah.
what you need to prioritize for that, you're
Mhm.
putting it to the side. You're
Yeah.
just like over here, like just creating the content." So
Right.
typically, what I'm seeing is that they're just not doing that. They are not actually being human and being social one on one with other people. They are not sending DMs. And I don't say cold, I'm
Right.
not talking about cold spamming DMs.
No.
That's
No.
disgusting. No,
It
that's not
is.
what I mean.
Right. Mm-mm.
Like, they're and they're working so hard on this content. So what I
Yeah.
typically tell them is, look, if you're already spending time creating this content, you want more eyeballs on it. So
Right.
and there's other nuances as like the messaging, how they're writing that content, what it sounds like. Is it storytelling or is it just always promotional? Is it
Right.
creating this experience for their audience? So there's all of that. But
Mhm.
but even if all of that is great, why they're
Yeah.
typically not seeing results from it is because they are not like intentionally and purposely actually going into the DMs and having
Yes.
conversations. And,
Yeah.
I tell all my clients what, so I teach this an hour. It's called the Ignite Power Hour. And the hour is
Okay.
broken up into four 15 segments, 15
Got
minute
it.
segments. The main, like the most important 15 minutes of that segment is
Mhm.
that I tell people, if there's anything that you do, just do this and you don't want to do the rest. Take
Yeah.
15 minutes out of your day, be really intentional, choose 5 to 10 people per day, different people per day that could either be a potential client, referral partner, or collaborative partner,
Yes.
and go to their personal profiles or wherever you're connected. This will work on Instagram, LinkedIn, doesn't matter what
Right.
platform you're on.
Right.
Go to their personal profile, just comment on their most recent two posts, and then
Mhm.
send them a personal message and say, "Hey, Tracy, I just saw that, your son is graduating for, or whatever, is graduating.
Yeah.
That's so exciting. We haven't chatted in a while. What have you been up to? Or, I'd love to catch up. Do you have some time this week?" Like, that's it.
Yeah. That's it.
And yeah, that's it. It's not like it's just being a human being.
Yes.
And what
Oh
people
gosh.
don't understand,
Yes. Sorry.
it's just
I
being
just get so
social.
excited.
That's what it is all about. It's being
Yeah.
social.
Let's
Yeah.
say that again. We're supposed to be a what now?
A
A
human
human.
being,
Yes.
not a
God.
bot,
I just want
not
to
an
need a
AI,
right. I want a
a
needle,
human
put it
being.
on a pillow. Be a human being. you
I
know?
know. I know. I feel like I
Um,
should tattoo it like right here. Um,
so,
but
okay,
yeah,
but
and then yeah,
the most important 15 minutes of that hour is the
yeah.
conversations.
It's the
Mm.
conversation. And then part of that too is because there is another 15 minutes. So I will say this is another really important 15 minutes
Yeah.
is you got to follow up with people that commented on your post. Even if it's just a
Yes.
thank you. Like send them a
Yes.
personal message that says, "Hey, thank you so much." I can't tell you how many times like that has reminded someone
Yes.
about something that I am offering
Yeah.
and they're like, "Oh, by the way, I forgot that like you're just missing out on so many opportunities by not doing that. And then the last thing I want to say about this too, that people don't really understand is that if you want your content to get seen by more of the right people in your audience, then when you intentionally are engaging on their content and you're sending them DMs, those
Yes.
people are going to see your content moving forward, not just
Yes.
your family and friends.
Right. Right.
So,
Brilliant. I love it. I will, like there was a gal who was wanting to hire me one to one. The timing wasn't right. No big deal. But we stayed connected on social media. She's in my free
yeah,
group. We had reasons to be in the same rooms, but it was her birthday. And I go to Facebook every morning and I look who's having a birthday and I will send you a birthday DM. I sent her a birthday DM. And you know what she said? You know what, Tracy? I think it's time that I hired you. And I'm like, okay, cool. I mean, I didn't do anything
I
other
love
than
it.
be a
She's
human.
like, it's my birthday. I'm going to gift myself you to me. Yeah,
I
that's
know.
amazing. But that's how it
Yeah,
happened.
I love
I
it.
love
And
that.
also,
Yeah.
you guys, I want you to listen to what Gina was saying. Gina is not saying go send a weirdo, cold, spammy, hey, what's lighting you up in the world kind of weirdo thing. She's wanting you to go speak like a warm, kind human being to the other
Mhm.
warm, kind human being. And the words that she used are the same words that you would use if you were standing in front of that person, right?
Yeah.
In person.
Yep. Yeah.
So I don't know about your mastermind people and your clients, but mine get stuck. It's like their brain thinks that what they need to say online is different than what they would say at a coffee shop.
Mhm.
And I'm like, it's not. It's the same words. It's just the location of the conversation has changed. Do you find that
Right.
also?
Same thing. Like they want to make it super polished, you
Yeah.
know? And I'm like, "No, that
Yeah.
actually that's gonna make it sound salesy and weirdo, like weird,
Yeah.
right?"
Yeah.
So I'm
Exactly.
like, "Tell me right now what you would say if you ran into that person at the grocery store." And they'll
Yes.
say it, and I go, Now I want you to type exactly that into the
Right.
DMs."
Right.
Or
Right.
voice notes. Here's the other trick, voice notes. Well, Tracy, you and I go back and forth voice notes.
You
I
know,
love voice notes.
me
And
too.
and it's a great way to practice too sending DMs
Yeah.
because you end up feeling number one, the other person on the receiving end, they actually really appreciate that. Like I get so many thank yous. Like thank you so much for taking a few seconds to send me a message. I mean, literally it takes less time to send a voice note than to
It
type
does.
the note out.
Yes, it
Like,
does.
yeah,
And
so
then they can
people
hear
really
your voice. They can hear that you're not
yeah,
a spammy weirdo.
it's so
And,
important.
yes, the danger with the audio though is for me,
Mhm.
I sometimes forget what I said. I sometimes forget what
I
they
do
said, like, and so then I have to go back and listen to them. But anyway, yeah.
I know, I know, I know. Yeah, that is kind of the little, like, annoying part, but yeah, it goes a long way, and people really appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so you teach this really cool thing called a CEO activation system that
Mhm.
my understanding is that it converts visibility into revenue, which I
Yeah.
know my audience, they all just sat forward when I said the word revenue. They're like, tell us more. So, what are some of those simple activation actions that
Mhm.
we as CEOs should be doing
Mhm.
weekly on social media so that time pays off? And I know we've talked about one of them being those conversations. What are some
Yeah.
other simple things that they are not doing?
Yeah. So part of this is putting out what I call an activation post. And I didn't come up with this. That's just my word.
Yeah,
But it's like a two-step post. I've heard of it that way, a hand-raising post.
yeah,
Essentially, you're getting people to raise their virtual hand,
right.
right? So it could be something as simple as, you know, I'm thinking about doing a training about how you can increase your engagement in literally 3 seconds after a post. I mean, right?
Nice.
Who wants in? That's it. Like
Yeah.
it needs to be something that people don't have to think so hard about it. It's like an easy
Right.
yes.
Yeah.
And so every single person that comments on that post, you're going to reply to them, say, and you're going to say, amazing. I'm going to send you a personal message with all the details of when I'm doing that. Then you send them a personal message
Right.
and you say, hey, Tracy, thank you so much for your comment on my post about blank. Like remind them because people
Yeah.
forget. I forget. Like I'll comment on stuff and I'm like, who are
Right.
you? What did I comment on? So remind them and then say, I'd love to have you. I'm doing this on such and such date.
Mhm.
Tell me a little bit about what's happening with your engagement right now. So I
Yeah.
I do like to ask another question
Mhm.
because that is allowing me to kind of qualify them.
Mhm.
And, it could like maybe this training isn't even for them. Maybe they say to me, well, I'm getting great engagement, but I'm just not getting it's not leading to actual conversations. Well, then
Right.
you don't need this training. I think we need to get on a call and let's talk about what that actually looks like. So it could lead to something else after that.
Yeah.
So that's really the idea. And you can do it with anything. You can do it with a free offer, a paid
Mhm.
offer. I mean, it just really depends on what are your goals for that upcoming week or month if you're trying to fill something, if you need more booked calls.
Mhm.
So that's kind of like just the process. Very simple. Yeah.
Nice. So,
Yeah.
how do they shift from like, and we think we've touched on this a little bit, just creating the
Mhm.
content,
Yeah.
because my people think that it's like they almost think that the more content they create, the more it will get them clients. But what you and I have already uncovered is that yes, they need that visibility, but they don't need to
Yeah.
exhaust the visibility. Like
Yeah.
creating more content for content's sake isn't going to drive anything. They've got to get into conversation. So how do they just shift from creating that content to building that real marketing to sales system
Yeah.
that leads to those premium clients?
Okay. So, I love this question. So, I don't know if I talked to you about this on when you were on my podcast, but um me being like the kind of math geek and the media buyer,
Yeah.
frequency is really important in marketing. H- The more that people hear your voice,
Yeah.
read your message over and over again, and that's why they say now that you need to follow up with people like I don't know, something like 20 something times before they
Yes.
actually say yes to an offer, especially if it's higher ticket. So there is something called the 7-11-4 visibility rule. I did not make
Oh,
this up. It's actually a study that was done a couple of years ago based on consumer behavior
okay.
online.
Okay.
And it totally makes sense. So now it's something, and honestly, it's something that as an agency and when I've taught this process, it's actually what we've done all along, but now I get the math behind it. So what it means is that your audience, that one person, that one like perfect client in your audience, for them to actually trust you and feel certain that you are their go to solution for whatever problem that they have,
Mhm.
they need to consume at minimum 7 hours of your content.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Plus, and this was done like 2 years ago. So now with AI, I would say that this is higher.
More.
So 7 hours of your content plus, not or, plus they need to have a minimum of 11 direct touch points with you,
Wow.
plus a minimum of having access to you on 4 different platforms.
Oh,
Now,
my stars in heaven.
okay. And I get that a lot, but
Yeah.
it's not for social media platforms. For
Ah,
platforms
okay.
includes, okay? It
Yeah.
could be a combination of Facebook and Instagram plus your website plus in-person events or your email marketing, right?
Okay.
So just to keep it simple,
Yes.
let's say it's Facebook and
Uh-huh.
Instagram,
Mhm.
and you blog, you're a blogger, and you send out emails. Those are 4 platforms.
Okay.
Okay. Now,
Mhm.
how do we build up to the 7 hours? Because that's going to like freak a lot of people out at
Yeah.
first.
A
And
lot.
this is why I love what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
And this is why I love live video and why I love long form video, live or recorded. In my world, it's live because I mess up and I know I can't go back and I
Right.
don't have to deal with hours of editing and
Right.
re-recording, right?
Right.
So,
Well,
and
not only that,
yes,
but the algorithm loves you being live. It'll
yes.
push you out to
And
people who don't know you.
that 100%, and people see that you are human. So,
Yes, for
um,
sure.
so what we get hired to create this, what I call a visibility to profits ecosystem for clients, and it's also part of what I teach.
Yeah.
So I always encourage our clients, have one anchor piece of content per week that's going to be a long form video,
Same.
preferably live.
Yeah,
Yeah.
same.
Do it on the same day of the week if you can, at the same time. If you got to change, who cares? Like, no big
Right.
deal. But from, it's when you have a routine, you're more committed.
Yeah.
And then you take that piece of content that, let's say it's a live, you use the transcription and you send out email marketing campaigns, you create a blog post, a LinkedIn newsletter, Substack if you're over there now, which is my new favorite place.
Yeah.
Short video clips. So now you have reels.
Yeah.
Um, all those things. I mean,
Love it.
carousel posts, text, right? And
Mhm.
so there's the 7 hours that actually will compound so fast. Like, literally, it could compound if you're using it properly, like
Right.
within a few weeks versus, honestly. So here's little of this math just to give you a quick example. If you were to just post like 3 times a week, just a written post on, let's just say, Facebook, or even if it was a 30-second reel 3 times a week, you
Right.
do that 3 times a week. In order for you to hit, for one person
7
to
hours.
consume 7 hours of that, it's like 3.5 years. Like, who has time for that?
3,566 30-second reels. No, I'm just kidding. I don't even know, but that's a lot
Yes.
of reels.
Right. So this is the part that people don't understand about content. It's got to compound,
Yeah.
and you don't have to create new content from scratch every single day if you do it this way. You also don't need to post every single day if you do it this way.
Right.
Plus, because you add on those 11 touch points. So
Mhm.
that's where, like an activation post comes into play. And now you're activating your audience and they're raising your hand. And that's, commenting back and forth is a direct touch point. DMs is a direct touch point. SMS messages are direct touch points. If they respond to your email, that's a direct touch point. Getting them
Mhm.
on a Zoom call, in person events, all of those things are, phone
Yeah.
calls. I actually will call leads. If I see
Wow.
someone that's like open messages, very often, I'll actually pick up the phone. And they're like surprised. I don't get a lot of them to actually pick up because
Right.
not many people pick up their phone nowadays if they don't know the number. But the ones that have, they're like, "Oh my gosh, like, you actually called me?" I'm like, "Yeah."
Love that. That's
So
amazing.
that's yeah, so that's essentially how it works.
Yeah.
And now with so many really cool AI tools, like, you can automate that entire process of that
Mhm.
content reproduction and
Yeah.
repurposing.
Totally.
So yeah, that's pretty
I
much
love
the
that.
system.
I think we're twins separated at birth because my
I know.
listeners listening to this, they're gonna be like, Gina is Tracy's twin because this is exactly what I teach and I have for years
Yeah.
because the system that you just described for content
Mhm.
creation is something that I did. I figured it out by myself when I was building this. When I started 8 years ago alongside my corporate job and I was super stressed out, I was like, okay, how can I be consistent with my content week in, week out? Because I'm sure you see this
Mhm.
too. You'll have a client that'll go, forgive my language, balls to the wall, posting seven
Yeah.
days a week, and they're on all the platforms and they're trying to be everywhere. And they do that for like 3 weeks and then they're flat on the floor, exhausted, and they can't create yet another piece of
Yeah.
content. So they stop. And then they rest for
That's
2 weeks and then they
awesome.
come back. And that's not what we need to be doing. And so I was like, okay, I can't do that. I need to pick one platform, which was Facebook,
Yeah.
and I need to
Mhm.
know what do I have to have every week. But I figured out and I wish I'd known you back then because you could have saved me some time. But I figured out, went live, then I could
Mhm.
just do that. That was easy. That was every
Mhm.
Thursday at 11:30. And then I could take, we didn't have AI back then. I think I built this in the dinosaur age, but I could look at that
Makes sense.
script and I could pull
Mhm.
out a couple of things to make a social media post about, like you're saying.
Yep.
I could write a
Mhm.
blog based on that live, just like you're
Yep.
saying. I could have created a have created a podcast out of my lives now, but
Yeah.
I love that because it's so much more simple than what I was trying to do, which was go live on this topic, post about a different topic, make another post
Yeah.
about even a different topic, email about something completely different. And it all didn't need to be completely different. It could be the same thing,
Yeah.
just in the course of a week, right?
Right. And it keeps your message cohesive. And Tracy, I was the same way. Like I did it like that too, in the beginning. Like
Yeah.
this I would say I really refined probably about 10 years ago. But like
Yeah.
in the beginning, I was the same way. And it's tiring.
Oh my
And
gosh, it's
so
exhausting. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And then you really like end up despising social media, right?
Yeah.
So
I think that's
um
what people do. What
that
what
100%.
what would you say to someone, because when you were describing this, I was like, "Oh my stars, that's exactly what I teach too." And I know what I hear when I first describe that to someone. I hear, "Well, that's going to take too much time." "Well, isn't that going to be
Mhm.
a lot of work?" "Well, can't I just automate that?" "Well, what do you mean I need to be getting into the DMs and having conversations? That's going to take all day long." What would you
Yeah.
say to that?
So I do have a client, actually recently that was very adamant. Like, I am just done with the DMs. I
Mhm.
said, you do not have to be on social media, but you do need to market yourself. So if you're
Yeah,
not going to choose this route,
right.
what are you going to choose?
What are you going to do?
You're telling yeah, you're telling me you want to grow your business and
Right.
you want to leverage social media, but you don't want to do what's needed to do on social media in order to make that happen. And on top
Exactly.
of that, and we haven't talked about, I do love paid traffic because I
Yes.
do come from that background.
Yeah.
And we do run ads for a lot of our agency clients,
Mhm.
but and you don't want to run ads. By the way, you need to have organic to run ads. So
Yes.
that's how they're going to work the best.
Right.
So then tell me what you want to do. So
Right.
I tell people, look, you don't have to, but you got to have another plan then. And
Yeah.
it's okay because there are other ways to do it.
Mhm.
But here's the thing, like, you could totally just do like in-person events and speaking events, but it's going to be a lot harder for you to get more of those events if your visibility online is like non-existent. People are
Yes.
not going to trust you. They're
Right.
not going to believe in you. And that's just
And I want you to
how it
say that again because, Gina, if I was applying to speak on a stage in person, where are the people that are going to decide, the people that are looking at my application to be a
Mhm.
speaker, where are they going to go check me out?
On social media. And I
Yeah.
would say before your website,
Yeah.
like
So, just like
social
you
media.
just said, you guys,
Yeah.
what Gina just said this, you can build a business, but if you don't have visibility and you don't have some sort of social media presence, even if you
Mhm.
don't want to use social and you want to go in person, you still have to have this.
Right.
Yeah. I get frustrated with online business owners who are like, "Well, I want to be a coach and I want to be a course creator and I want to do this or I want to
Yeah.
serve coaches and course creators." And I'm like, "Cool." And they go, "But I don't want to
Yeah.
be on media." And I'm over here going, "I don't know how to help you. I
Right.
I'm sorry. I think what you're doing is great. I love you to pieces. I don't know how to help you.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah, I
don't."
agree, I agree, or, and there's, also, like, showing up on video, which is really, really important, like, right now, that type of visibility is the new currency, but, people think, "Oh, but I do reels, and I, like, I use the trending audios." I'm like, "Give me a break." Like, if especially
Yeah.
if you're selling high ticket. If
Right.
you're someone that comes to me and is like, I have a $15,000 mastermind and all I want to
Mhm.
do is like dance on TikTok. Good luck,
Yeah.
right? So
No.
that's the other thing. Or they don't want to show their face at all. And I get it. I've worked really deeply with some clients that it was a lot of work to get them to the point of finally showing up on camera. And
Yeah.
but once they did it, it was, an amazing experience. And that is something that's a whole other conversation because there's things involved with that just on a deeper level that people they just really need to rewire what's already happening, and there's patterns that need to be broken, things like that.
Right.
But it's yeah, I mean, if you don't want to use social, but you need to use social, I mean, yeah, I don't know what to tell you.
I don't either. I don't either. All right. This conversation has been so good. I love all of the tips you gave. If
Mhm,
somebody has like an hour or 2 hours a week to spend in the online
mhm,
space, what
mhm,
is a like what's the checklist? What would Gina give
yeah,
them as a checklist of you need to do these things? And if you focus on
mhm.
these things, it will be okay.
I would say if you're gonna post a few times a week.
Mm,
Definitely one of those should be a video,
yeah.
and spend most of your time building relationships in Messenger or, in DMs,
Yeah.
wherever. I don't care. LinkedIn, Instagram, Substack, Facebook. But
Yeah.
the priority out of all of those would be the DMs
Mhm.
piece, but then remember those people are gonna go check you out. So
Yeah.
have something worth their while,
Yes.
right? So
Yes.
that would primarily be it. And then the last thing is moving people off the platform. So
Yeah.
making sure that they're getting into your email list somehow because you don't own these platforms. So if it goes down and
Yeah.
all your eggs are in one basket or in multiple social media baskets and they all go down, you have nothing left. So making
Exactly.
sure that you're moving them off the platform.
Yeah. You mentioned Substack real quick. What are you loving about
Yeah.
Substack and how is it converting into how are you getting conversations out of it and list growth out of it?
Yeah. So, okay. So I fully transparent. I've been in and out of Substack. Honestly, actually, when I jumped back into Substack recently,
Mhm.
I had an account and I didn't even know I had it. And I had it from like 4 years ago. So I didn't even
Oh,
know that I
wow.
had the account.
Been
Yeah, I
around.
must have jumped in there at some point. Somebody must have mentioned it like years
Yeah.
ago. I didn't do anything with it. So
Wow.
I like revamped the account that I didn't even know that I had.
Yeah.
And that was probably about 2 months ago. And then summer came and I'm not one, like if I'm gonna dive in, I'm gonna be all in. So
Yeah.
I stepped out because I was like, I can't right now. And you do need to have a strategy. And you do, especially in the beginning, it's like starting from the ground up, which I love. So that is part of what I love about it right now for me. And so this week I actually started to post there, and I do have a couple of Substack articles, which I'm loving. I'm going to start going live there. But what I am seeing that I'm really loving is just the banter, the back and forth. Like it's like open communication. You can just be raw and real. And you can do this on Facebook too. But because it's so underutilized right now, like this is the moment.
Yeah.
So, for people that, for example, like I have this love hate relationship with Instagram, right?
Uh,
Instagram, those that came into Instagram and really like hit it hard from the beginning,
yeah.
that's why they do so well. You try to do that well now on Instagram, it's a grind and it's
Yeah.
hard.
It is.
Right? Same thing with Facebook. Same thing. Substack, it's just getting started, like really started. So if you want to find a place where you can use your voice, be raw, and like really just meet new people that I'm finding it more like thought leaders, really intellectual people, people that just want to hear all different points of views. It's just this open space for it. And yes, there's absolutely a strategy though of like moving those people towards something of yours. And then there are DMs there, so connecting with people there. So far in my last week of being there, much more intentional. It's been
Yeah.
great. So, and I'm seeing I
Nice.
have friends of mine that are on there and that have grown in like 30 days, just like completely changed their business. So I'm
That's
excited for it.
yeah, very cool. I'm new to it also, just kind of stuck my toe in it just to see what it was all about. So, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm anxious to hear how it goes for you. So, first of all, thank you so much for being here today. Tell
Oh, thanks
everybody,
for having me.
you're so welcome. It's always fun with you. Tell everybody where they can find you to connect with you.
Facebook is going to be like my number one place, but LinkedIn is another great one. Instagram as well. My first and last name, Gina with two N's. Yeah, or go to gethypemedia.com is my website. But
Love
I'd
it.
rather connect in DMs. So
Yeah,
don't be
me
shy.
too. Me too, same. And you brought a free gift for everybody. It's the magnetic
I
video
did.
generator. Do you want to tell them about it?
Yeah. Yeah, so okay. So if you are like, I know I should be on video or I am on video and I just like flop all the time, this thing is freaking magical. It will write your video scripts, long form, short form, whatever you want, in your voice within seconds. Plus, it
Wow.
does other things too. So it'll take that video script and it'll write out a blog post if you ask it to. It actually will prompt you if you want it to. Email campaigns from that video script. I mean, it does tons of stuff. I will say this though, don't give it garbage. If you give it garbage, it's going to give you garbage. So there's a set of questions. When you answer those questions in the beginning, you got to be really thorough, be super detailed, talk to it as if you're talking to a friend when you're answering those.
Got
And then
it.
you're going to get amazing results from it.
That sounds fascinating. Oh my gosh. Okay, my friends, you guys know that the whole heart of what I teach inside Business Visibility Made Easy is based on what Gina and I have been talking about throughout this episode. Making sure that we have content, enough, not too much content, we're not exhausting ourselves, but enough content to be visible so that people can be aware of who we are and know we exist. That visibility needs to not only grow our email list, but get us into conversations in the DMs, like Gina is talking about, which drives more visibility because you can find out if that person could be a potential client, could be a potential referral source. That gets you lots more visibility, could be a potential collaboration partner. That's visibility off the chain. And that leads to more conversations, and the business just starts to grow. So if you guys are watching this on YouTube, I want you to head to tracybeavers.biz/VIP and get on the wait list for Business Visibility Made Easy. The doors are not open yet, but I want you to be the first in line when they are, because waitlisters get the best bonus that I offer all year. And if you're listening on the podcast, go grab your spot, tracybeavers.biz/VIP waitlist. And you hear me say this every single week. Don't try to do this by yourself. Being an entrepreneur is freaking hard. Gina and I just talked about how we've been at this for years, how it can still be frustrating, how we have clients and students that, we're all just trying to figure this out together. And I don't want you to feel like you need to stay alone to try to do this. You can't do it alone. Some days everybody wants to buy what you're selling, and other days it feels like nobody can remember your name. And if you think you're alone in that, you're not. So get into a community of support. Send me a DM, send Gina a DM, and let us help you and support you. And have a great balance of the week and weekend. And remember that when one of us rises, we all rise. So that is why we've got to keep cheering each other on. Gina, thank you again so much for being here.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Bye, everyone.